That's my music, Angie. I get so excited when that gold starts dripping down. It's like, yeah. So
Goodness, Makisha, you are too funny, girl.
I'm telling you, thank you so much for each and every person who always joins us, rock with us. We appreciate you from the bottom of our heart, taking your time out of your busy schedule to like, subscribe, follow all those amazing words that we use on YouTube. Woo! And also on Facebook too. Yeah, so we appreciate you so much. So today we're here for our Testimony Tuesday. So you know we do this twice a month. And we skipped last Tuesday because it was a special day. It was my husband's birthday. So,
Hey, whoop, whoop.
so
Hey, birthdays is where it's at, right?
yes,
I just wish
yes.
we had one
That's
in
our
July.
annual holiday, right? So we took that Tuesday off but we're here today, this Tuesday, celebrating this amazing woman of God that I had the opportunity to walk this journey with.
Woo.
And I'm so excited to hear her story. We were talking in the green room, and I was like, "This is about to be amazing for her to share her testimony. For that's going to help many people." And get to know Angie. So, Angie, thank you so much for joining the Dumping Ground platform. We appreciate you from the bottom of our heart for taking your time out of your busy schedule on this happy Tuesday. We have Miss Tracy on the line. She's here. Everybody is here to see what you got to say, friend. So, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm just elated to be here. So thank you again, Makisha, for asking me. I know when you first reached out to me, I was like, "Who, me?" I'm like, "Okay, guys, if this is what you want me to do, then let me just go forth." And first of all, for those of you all who are on that know me, I'm Angie. I came to Gwinnett County. This is just a little bit about me. I was born and raised, first of all, in West Palm Beach, Florida. Moved to a small town in South Georgia and lived there for 20 years. I'm about to tell my age now. I'm about to tell my age. And then I came up to Gwinnett County, and every move that I made was a life move. Something changed, something shifted, which brought me to each location, right? And along the way, God just put me in different positions with different people, from church home to, my job, and how he just had people in my life to help me get to different places in my life. And, I have a long history, but I'm gonna try to pour what they say a gallon into a pint, right?
Okay, okay.
And just kind of start how I moved to Gwinnett County, which was a major shift in my life. And it was during a time that my dad was living with me. He had gotten sick, and I was already coming back and forth to, be with him at the VA hospital. And then there was some other things happening with him. And, I was working a job, and I had a home, and had my little girl with me and my son. And I'm like, I started calculating some things. I was like, okay, God, I think I'm at a ceiling to where I may not be going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm at a standstill, and sometimes you can get stagnant and not even realize you're stagnant because you're holding on to people or the what's comfortable. And I'm talking to my coworkers, but I never told anybody that I was getting ready to transition to or getting ready to make the move until I knew everything was in place. So as things progressed with my dad and I knew I was coming back and forth, I was like, you know what? I'm going to move. I'm going to make this move. I'm going to do it by faith. I'm not going to know anyone. I had some relatives here, and that was good, but I didn't know anybody else, right? So you're coming to unfamiliar territory. And I sold my house in 60 days, right? And I was like, wait a minute. Now, I thought my house was going to be on the market longer. And I came here with no job, and had family help me out, meaning I had a place to stay when I got here until I got my own place, which was such a huge blessing, So that's why I say how God just puts people on your path to help you make the necessary moves. And it was during a time where it was so much going on in my life, and I'm picking up the pieces from other stuff that I had going on and just trying to put myself back together mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And selling my house, that's all the money I had, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to hurry up and find a job. But it was funny, Lakeisha. What was funny was I was in a role where I was in the payroll and insurance industry, running payroll for the previous employer that I worked with. It was very small, tight knit, one a whole large, payroll. So I'm interviewing and one particular interview I had, and I felt like I'm gonna step back and say this and slow me down if I'm moving too fast, because I get to going,
But we roll with the comments rolling. We rolling with you, friends. So keep rolling, keep rolling.
So I'm just getting took on a rat chase, like I'm just chasing tails, and why I say that is because recruiters had me lined up for jobs in the same industry I was in, but it just looked like the door would not open. And I remember coming up before I moved, and I was interviewed at a major, I'll say fast food restaurant headquarters for payroll. And when I looked at the qualifications, I was like, okay, God, I'm not qualified for this, but I'm going to apply anyway, because this was major. This was not push a button with your eyes closed, because I had learned my job duties. I could do them with my eyes closed by the time I left, because I was in that role for so long. So the lady, when in the interview, she looked at me, she said, how many people did you run payroll for? How many employees you ran payroll for? And I was honest. Like, I never try to hype it up. I don't lie on my resume. I don't try to tweak it. I just come as I am. What you see is what you get.
What you get, right?
So she looked at me and she looked at my resume, and she kept asking me questions, and then took me around to meet the team. And I mean, they had a team for each division, and it was so big. And so she said, well, everything went well. I'm going to get back with you. I sent her the little, thank you email, and I'm waiting, no call. I said, well, I don't want to be pushy. I'll wait a week. Reached out, no answer. Then finally, about 2 or 3 weeks later, she said, well, we decided to go with someone else. So, automatically I'm like, okay, well, I'm in my feelings, because I'm like, I don't have a job, and I only have so much money.
Right. Angie.
Possibly. So I'm like, okay, I got to get a job. And that was another blessing. And I had to be adaptable to change, right? Sometimes we're so hyper-focused on what we're used to that we don't think about there's something else out there for me. Or God has another purpose for me, and it's going to be bigger this time, or it's going to be not only for you to have the paycheck, but for you to fulfill your purpose, right? And so when I came into the previous company that I actually am with now, and it's in my bio, of course. And I was like, data and analytics. I don't know nothing about no data and analytics. And I came in at a time where, again, I'm still going through things. My dad hadn't even passed yet, and I was also just totally green, right? So when I'm trying to learn, it was very frustrating, because, okay, this is something new. Never done it before, but I want to memorize all of this stuff. This was just too much information, and I was overwhelming myself, right? So with that being said, there were days that I was frustrated. I was asking God, are you sure this is for me? Should I quit? Am I doing a good job? And again, still all these outside stressors, getting my daughter used to living here, us, navigating the city, because where it used to take me 8 minutes to get to work. Now this was an hour. Okay. So my first day getting there, and again, doors open. Like I said, you need people. So I actually had registered, well, not registered, but I filled out with staffing agencies. And that's how I came into where I work at now.
Correct.
And, I can't talk a lot about that. That's a
Oh,
secret society.
oh yeah. Corporate girlies. We get it. We know
Yeah,
what's
we
up.
get it. We hear, we know. So anyway, I was driving to work one day, and I'm shedding a lot of tears, because I'm going through this and, making a transition into a new role, new industry. And I remember driving, and my son, I called him. Can you see me, Makisha? I'm sorry, my video. I
You
don't know if my
fine. You
okay.
still talking? I can hear you. It's no
Okay.
worries. Don't even sweat it. We rolling with what we got, baby. No sweat.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know what is going on with my
Don't worry.
stuff, but I'll keep
Don't sweat
talking.
it. Yes, ma'am.
So anyway, I was driving to work, and so my son, I called him because he was on the road driving, and I was crying, and I was like, I'm like, I don't know nobody, and I'm crying. It's taking me an hour to get to work, and I'm just tears just running down my face. And you know what he told me? He said, "Mama," he say, "suck it up and pray about it."
Those kids.
I say because that's what you would tell me, right?
Oh God, those kids.
So, so I'm like, okay, well, I did just what he said. I started praying. I'm driving into work, and it's taking me so long. So finally, I got used to the traffic flow, and I get on the job. And I tell you what, from that point on, it has just been an amazing journey, just learning and networking and having managers that were pushing me. I mean, beyond my limits, right? They saw something in me that I didn't see in myself because I was in that boat for so long, right? And I just wanted to put my head down and work. But then when I realized the value that I was bringing, right? You have to realize the value that you bring. How you see yourself would definitely help you understand how to come out of that comfort zone. And the more you're around, the more you surround yourself around people who are going somewhere, who want to see greatness in you. And the more you believe, it's my faith. I'm telling you, my faith has helped me definitely to climb over a lot of obstacles in my life. Then in that transition, I was working, still trying to, make sure we were seeing my dad. So I'm still going to the hospital, the nursing home. And then finally, even in that, everybody was so supportive. My managers were supportive, and it just really helped me get through some tough times. And I was like, once my dad passed on, and you go through that grieving process, and you got to continue to keep moving forward. So many doors began to open for me. So in my first role, not only was I doing my job, but I took on different things outside of my day-to-day tasks. And I was entrusted with certain tasks that I was like, now, I'm doing this. Like, okay, then I just started doing, you have to start doing it before you're doing it, right? And it doesn't matter about a title.
Nope.
It's about what are you gaining, what skill sets, how are you improving, are you moving forward, right? So, but I learned a lot about myself. First, I learned sometime that I could catch an attitude.
We all can, friend.
Girl, because it was like, the first role I had was very challenging. You know where I was at. So I'm like, man, I gotta talk to people on the phone. And they weren't always nice, right? So, and I remember one day I had took a call, and it was a little hot call. It was really hot. So I stood up from my desk. That was when we was in the office. Stood up from my desk, and I threw my badge on the desk, and I said, "I gotta take this. I ain't gotta take this." And then I looked at that badge, and I put it right back on my head because I thought about I gotta pay some bills, And I cannot give up, right? Just because I'm frustrated, or just because someone said something to me and made it look like me that was the problem. But at the end of each call, people were angry, but I'm going to tell you what they would say at the end of the call. It was like, I called, I was so angry, but when I spoke with you and I heard the calmness of your voice, my whole attitude just shifted. I was like, okay.
Now, Angie, I must say that is truly one of your special powers that you have. You have this calming voice, and now, you also have Coach Angie in your fitness voice that I was like, I ain't used to this rowdy, raw, come on, you can do it. Wait, I want back the soft Angie who's just like, yes, Lakeisha, you can do it. Now drop it down, give me 4 more. What? 4 more? Give me some burpees.
And you know what? How I came about with that, you're talking about when I was a fitness instructor, right? A group fitness instructor. So, which I still am in a sense. I don't officially teach classes anymore. But I'm going to tell you something about that. I used to tell a colleague years ago, again, before I even moved here, that I wanted to be a Zumba instructor. And I just kept saying it so much. And she was like, okay, Angie, so when you going to do it? Like, I just kept saying it, kept speaking it. But it wasn't until I moved here in 2015, I remember I was taking cycling classes at, a big box gym, nationally known.
Right.
And I kept watching the instructors and I'm like, okay, I enjoy the classes. I enjoy the community. And I spoke with a couple of instructors and I'm like, okay, let me see about what the path I need to take to become a cycling instructor. Right. Now, everything we do, again, we don't have to have a title, but everyone is a leader. You just have to know your audience, be an example, leverage your faith. All of those things really play a role and bring, even though you don't feel like it, bring the best sometimes you don't feel like it, I'll say that, but bring the best version of yourself that you can possibly bring. And again, you need mentors, you need, you need people that can show you how you need to improve because, we look in the mirror, we think we always right. I got it going on, I'm all of that. But really, in reality, you're nothing without God. Number one,
100%.
Well, and I'm telling you, if I'm telling you right now, just sitting here, I would not even be here if it was not for the grace of God because of a lot of things that I've gone through. But bringing it back to the cycle instructor piece. So when I got interested, I took the certification. And of course, that gym that I was working for, they offered other certifications. And I just fell in love with it, connected with a lot of people, did it prior to COVID, came back to the gym, continued to do it, and then life happened again.
Yes.
Lakeisha.
Yes.
Girl. And, I shared a couple of things where I had been in some car accidents. And I'm like, is the devil really trying to kill me?
Yes. Girl.
He was really trying to take me out.
Yes, he was trying to take you out, friend. Yes.
On 85 North, and I just get sideswiped out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like I'm two payments from paying my car off, right? Yes. So I was like, oh man.
Yes. I know.
Oh man, I was just about to see the light.
Yes.
You trying to eliminate bills and then now you got to go create another one, right? Absolutely. But it was so funny because that was the year that it happened. In January of that year, the Lord was speaking to me about realignment, right? That was my word for the year. And this is what I want to say about alignment and realignment. Is that when you get off, or if we step out of the will of God and your purpose, He knows how to bring us back, right? And you have to hear his voice, and that takes prayer and reading his word daily. And you bring him into everything you do, your job, your home, your community, even your church, because that's just the building we go to.
Absolutely.
But you are the church, you are the example. And sometimes, and that doesn't mean perfection, right? Because perfection, I had another, yet another manager tell me perfection is a myth. Right?
Absolutely.
You always have to look at your life as growing physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
Yes.
And you cannot do it alone, right? Absolutely. So there was other things I had to put in place to even get through some of my traumas.
Yes.
And my past, and just learning that it takes some time using other resources to get there. Sometimes people don't want to talk about therapy, well, just pray about it, But I had a pastor to tell me, look, you have to do the necessary.
That's right.
Because everything, to do what you need to do for your health. So faith and medicine and therapy works together.
Got that right.
And so I think that you have to take ownership of certain things, and you have to be able to, number one, forgive, right? Because forgiveness is not, and you hear the saying, forgiveness is not just for that person, it's for you. That's the only way you're going to heal. And it was a few things that I couldn't even talk about.
Yeah.
And I'm able to share some things with people one-on-one, and they're like, oh my goodness.
I love it, man.
Oh my goodness. And I'm like, yeah. So that, and being relatable is very helpful in relationships. Don't put yourself up on a pedestal. Stay humble. Stay humble. And, even in, what you told me, my voice, how I can like get in my training mode, and I'm all hyped up, and I turn into a whole nother person, I guess.
Well, I love it though. I love it.
But
it's so cool
push,
though.
Right?
It's good though. It made me do them burpees, friend. It made me, because I was like, hold up, this ain't that. This is not, I mean, so when I first met you, let's just go back to the origin. When I first met you, and you have such a you have such a calmness about yourself. Like you're not in a rush to do so. You know how most people be like in a rush to do things or rush to have a conversation. That's not you. You always have time. You will make time, and you be like, girl, let's put some time on the calendar. Let's talk. You know what I'm saying? Like you always have a sweet spirit aroma about yourself, and that's what draw me to you. You have such a sweet calmness about yourself, and it's pretty contagious, because after a while, if you're anxious or something and you just start talking to you, it's like your spirit helps calms people's spirit. It really does. So when you were, so it doesn't surprise me when you were on the phone with these agitated customers and they hearing your voice, and you even though you have to follow the process and the protocol, your calmness and how you explain and how you take time with people to make sure they understand, like that's your superpower. Like that's your grace that God gave you to be able to work through things. And like I said, I'm used to that, Angie. Now I'm gonna have to get used to coaching. You know what I'm saying? Which, hey, I'm gonna have to get used to it. And I know we go through this in October. They probably gonna be asking me to do some things. Please let me build myself up to that, because Coach Angie is different, and which is okay, right? Because you're in a different mode, and you're setting us, and even in a coach. Think about a team. You're setting us up for excellence. You're setting us up for the next goal, the next thing. So it can't be calm, Angie, because I'll be laughing. You'll be like, come on, Makisha, let's do these burpees. I'm like, but I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to have to be like, get up, Keisha, get these burpees on.
And you know, that's so funny because I never thought that what I was doing in the fitness industry would spill over. Like even with that, I kind of was like, I'm just gonna stay up in this little, big box gym and do my thing, and not realize that I was utilizing those skills outside of the gym. Able to hey, let's get Angie to do XYZ.
Mhm.
And it's such a blessing, how I've been able to give out of myself and out of the goodness of my heart. And and it's grown me so much, even in my career progression. I mean, since I've been with the company I'm with now, I have had opportunity to train, coach, mentor, and you do that every day sometimes. You don't even think about it, but actually physically building those relationships, networking, talking to directors and other higher ups, and them being touchable, and willing to see you grow. It's just so amazing. It's just such a blessing. So, been with the company that I'm with for a certain length of time, and it's just showed me how getting out of my comfort zone and being willing to move has set me up for greatness. Like, and it's not about me, it's about God, and it's about his goodness and how he's used different things in my life to purify me, to and it's always a purification process, right? We'll never arrive. And it's only by the grace of God and only by his goodness that we even breathe, live, and have our being, right?
Absolutely.
And you have to focus on the most important things.
Absolutely.
And I think about how we even talk to our children, and we hoping that they get to where they need to go, and then there's a time in life that you have to release them, and that's something that it's trusting God, right? It's like, okay, God, now they don't belong to me, they belong to you, so teach me how to just pray and leave them in the hands of the Lord. And so that's something that I've had to work through. And it's not easy, you never stop being a parent. And also think about it. I'm thinking about how even in those challenges, how God just, as a mother have given me strength, has deepened my prayer life. I mean, and it's just been mind blowing, right? And he's teaching me how to trust him every single day. It's not, I trust God. Because sometimes we'll say it with our lips. But then when that trial comes up, he's going to say, okay, are you trusting in things? Are you trusting in other people? Are you trusting in your money? Are you trusting in your career? What is it that you're putting above me, right?
Absolutely.
And he's going to try you, right? He's going to try you through the word. He's going to try you through trials, because we are, he's the potter, we are the clay. And I think about times where I kind of got off in my walk with God. Well, not kind of, I just got off, right? So because I'm either in or I'm out. It's no in between.
We
And I
both.
can remember a time where I was out of the will of God and just doing my own thing, and and a lady, a good friend of mine, and I didn't expect this from her. She walked up to me and she told me, she said, I was praying about it before she even told me. She said, but I'm going to tell you something. And I knew it was God because he had kept sending me warnings. I mean, she wasn't the only one. I was like, God, why you just won't let me be? Let me be. I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to live right. I just want to go on back out here. But honey, I'm gonna tell you something. When you have a purpose and you are chosen, he will use anything and anyone to chastise you. And that's something that correction is something that it's a hard pill to swallow.
That's true.
But it's just like when I was growing up and I had to take Father John and I'm back to tell my age again.
That's okay. That's okay.
Castor oil and it didn't feel it
tastes good.
It didn't feel good. It didn't taste good going down, but the results, right, that came behind that was a
Absolutely.
cleaning, was a washing, was a
Absolutely.
purification process, and we didn't get sick that often,
Yeah.
right?
That's
So in your walk with God, you have to definitely um, hear the warnings, right?
mm-hmm.
And you have to heal. You know, you have to, healing is a process, and everybody's story is different. But I could tell you
Absolutely.
some things that will make your hair stand up on your head.
Man.
And I've had plenty of but God moments. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why was my life so bizarre, like
hmm
really bizarre, from losing
hmm
my mother when I was a little girl and not
Yes.
having her to, to finish nurturing me and having to go through those seasons. And
Right.
then there was so much trauma from other things that was
Yes.
happened to my life that I wouldn't talk about, because I was like,
Yes.
if I talk about this, who's gonna believe me?
Yeah.
So you suppress those things. You just keep moving and you keep just building, and it's just stacking up, stacking up, stacking
Yes.
up. So my way of coping was to, when I get a job, I got to do what I can. And I
Mhm.
was in survival mode, and I was, I wasn't living a fulfilling life. Even as a newborn babe in Christ, and even in my journey with Christ, I would
Right.
keep going back to those things because they were familiar spirits, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so when you're battling with familiar spirits and you're battling with emotional issues, you're battling with trauma and being hurt, disappointed, rejected, just
Mhm.
all these things. And you can go to church, jump and shout all you want to. But until you sit down and really deal with those things and allow God
Mhm.
to really help you and put you in places where you can be helped,
Yes.
you will not totally walk into your call and your purpose, because
Right.
you won't be able to pour into others, right? And your story and it is a foundation of what God is going to do in your life if you just open up and let him in,
Yeah.
just give him that yes.
Yes, girl.
And so, yeah, I'm gonna slow down. If you have any
Listen,
questions,
so you already kind of walked us into the butt gut, because we always talk about you already talked about you leveraging your faith, right, and getting out of
right.
your comfort zone. You totally out of your comfort zone. Even what you do now,
Mm-hmm.
it dragged you. Look for it. It dragged you out of your comfort
It
zone,
does.
right?
Even in the position that I'm in now.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And every day is something different, right? We don't get
Yes.
the same. It would be nice to get the same repetitive thing, but we don't. It's always something different and stuff. And but tell me a good but God moment that you have. You already, like I said, you already talked about leveraging your faith, stepping out of
Mm-hmm.
your comfort zone. But let's tell me about a but God moment that you had, and share that moment.
Ooh, Makisha. Makisha.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna just go ahead and drop this right here, because I'm
Yes.
not embarrassed about it. But
No,
I would say
no,
that
no.
there was a time in my life that was in such a dark place. When I tell you it was dark, meaning that um, emotionally I was gone. My mindset was gone,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually ended up in the hospital. Like, it was just such a dark place.
Mm-hmm.
But in that, I remember how, even though even my vision was blurred, like everything was so off. My blood pressure was through the roof. I was at stroke level. Even when I was in the hospital, I remember a lady telling me, she said, Angie, she said, I don't know if you realize what was happening to you. She said, but I saw it. She said, and I stood between you and the doctor.
Mm.
And I told him, if they give you another shot, you're going to kill. She said, I told the doctor, don't you give her another shot. Because if you give her a shot, another shot, you're going to kill her. Because it was just that intense, meaning I was
Wow.
totally out of control. I didn't know what was going on around me. I had blacked out, just blacked completely out. So
Wow.
I had to go through a transition in that, and as I was being discharged, the counselor therapist, she said, "What you just went through was a volcano." This is exactly what she told me. She said, "You had suppressed so much
Dang, Angie.
that you were exploding." She said, and when she told me, I just sat there and looked at her, and I'm like, "Really?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "You had so much trauma in you that that last thing was like, you know how somebody can get on your last nerve.
Yeah.
All it took was, it was just that last thing that
Oh,
happened to me that pushed me over the edge." And Makisha, I'm telling you, it was nobody but God that brought me back to myself.
man.
It
Yeah.
was nobody but God that brought me back to myself. And I was like, "God, I don't ever want to be in that place again."
Yeah.
But what it showed me is that if I let my mind be in Christ Jesus, He would give me peace.
Speak
If
it.
I just get out of, get out of the negative thinking, get out of what's happening to me, things are gonna happen. The enemy is gonna use people to
Mm-hmm.
literally drive you crazy.
Yeah.
He's gonna use your past. And
Mm-hmm.
if you let it consume you, if you allow it to consume you, it will overtake you, right? And some people don't come back from that, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I was like, I'm still here.
Yeah. And
I'm
you're
still
right. And you're
in my
right
right
mind.
mind.
In
Yes,
your
ma'am.
right mind, and you
Yes, ma'am.
out here helping people
I
overcome
am.
by your testimony, and
Yes.
letting everybody know that you can, God can pull you out of those dark places, right? Your
Yes.
hands
Yes.
is not too short that He can't reach you, no matter how
Mhm.
dark the trauma is, no matter what it is. It may
Right.
feel like He left you, but He hasn't left you. He hasn't forsaken you. He's
Mm-mm.
right there to pull you up by His.
Yes.
And the cool part that I love about it is God never steps away from us. We are the one who step away from God. He be like, "I'm in
Exactly.
that same spot you
Mm-hmm.
left 5 years ago. I've been
Yep.
waiting for you to get back to your mind to
Yep.
come back and do what you need to do." And I think
Yes.
that's the part that we have to realize that. And I know I was talking to one of my good friends, and she was talking about church hurt, right? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, God, I hate that word that I've been church hurt, and I'm not making it seem smaller. It's just so, it's a bad representation because it's not
Right.
God who hurt you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not, it's their misrepresentation of God that hurt
Right.
His people. And
Mm-hmm.
then we get in our ways and we're like, well, I'm not going back to church. Well, I'm not. And I'm like, oh my God. So I was like, Lord, how do you help someone who that's their story? You know what I'm saying? I'm
Mm-hmm.
like,
Right.
but it's not the church didn't hurt you. It's the
Mm-hmm.
misrepresentation of God that hurt you. God didn't have anything to do with that manipulative spirit that controls,
Right.
because all of that
Right.
stuff is witchcraft, and God has
Yes.
nothing to do with
Yes.
controlling and manipulation. You know what I'm saying? But
Correct.
it's just so hard. And then it's like, well, I'm not going back, and I'm just like, Lord, please, how do we help? How do we help? How do we help people who has that mind because they have a bad representation of
Mm-hmm.
Christ that they have experienced? And then I'm not making their experience, because that's their emotion, what they had to. But I said,
Mm-hmm.
I was always told, when you gonna go back to that job, when that job
Yeah.
when that job get
That's
on, and
correct.
you know what I'm saying, when that job get on your nerves, and those
Yes.
people get on your nerves, and you guess what? Tomorrow you still gonna clock. But I'm just like, okay, Makisha, don't say that, right? I'm just saying. I was like, why God always got to be optional? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But and again, not downplaying her situation, whatever. But I'm like,
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
do we always hype up other stuff, but God has to be the optional? You know what I'm saying? Well, He's optional. No,
Mm-hmm.
He's your ever present help that's gonna help you through the emotional piece of people representing him, and he's going to show you if you this is the time that you got to tap in to be like, okay, God, this happened. Now show me show me you. Remove them, show me you. But people, they have to get to that point. So I was just like, okay, I was kind of, I don't know, but sometimes I think we use it as a crutch too, and again, that's not her situation, but I'm not making it seem light, because so people do really do get hurt because of people misrepresenting God, and that's not cool, right? Because you're gonna be held accountable for those things you said and done that wasn't God, that you said God said, and when he didn't say it, hashtag he didn't say it, and you lied on him, you're gonna have to face him when you see him, and be held accountable when you say he said and he ain't say it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful about God. Thus said the Lord told me the Lord told me to tell you, and the Lord like I didn't say no such thing, and you push people away because the Lord said, which Lord are you talking about? Is you talking about the capital LORD, or are you talking about the lowercase LORD? Which one is it?
And I just want to say something about it. I have a comment, because this is why it's so vital for us to have our personal relationship with God and pray for discernment. Everywhere you go, ask God to show you through his word, and to just read the room. Because I can listen. Sometimes I don't say nothing. I just watch. And when I know that, okay, this is not it, this doesn't line up with what what I believe, or how I my relationship with God, he will give you discernment. He'll tell you, oh, it's time, get your hat, your coat, this ain't it. And because there's so much going on, and I can talk about this for days, because I do kind of watch things, and we got so much going on in the body of Christ right now, and that's why you cannot look to man. You cannot put your trust in man, and you cannot look to man, because that's not where your help comes from. Your help comes from God. And when you learn that, it's like, okay, I went through that. Yeah, I was exposed to that. But don't become entrapped in that, because that's how a lot of things turn into cults, right?
Absolutely.
And you start trying to please the leadership more than you're pleasing God, and you get stuck that way. You get stuck, and you sometimes don't even. God done told you to evangelize, and you still over there doing XYZ because you're not obedient, and you're waiting on somebody to take your hand and put it on that, yes, but that's why it's so important to know who you are. And just forgive, because again, we are not perfect. We are on this journey, and then you have to know, as far as who, like I said, I'm going back to saying this, I'll just say this and leave it alone. You are going to be held accountable. When you stand before Christ, you are going to be held accountable for what you did or what you didn't do.
That's so
and if we kind of step back and say, and consult God, how do I handle this situation? Does that mean that I just put everybody else to the side because this happened at this ministry, or this didn't happen for me? It's a part of your purification process. It's a part of, you realizing when, okay, it's time for me to move on. If I know I don't agree with something, or I know that I need to move on, just move on. Nobody has ownership over you. And that's something that we have to get out of, is thinking that, am I here to please God? Am I here to please man?
You have said it, and that's the part that we have to fall in love with. The relationship with God, the relationship with him, and man get blessed in the process. That's a bonus, but your focus needs to make sure that you are pleasing God in the process. process. And like you said, you can't put your trust in man because man will let you down. But one thing for sure that I could take to the bank and to my dying day, God will never fail you. He's a man that should not lie. Now we will lie our tails off until we turn green. You know what I'm saying? But one thing for sure, God is not a liar. And when he does covenant with you, he will take it before you take it. So that's just period. So that's got to be our focus. Yes, serve in the ministry, serve the body, serve this, but ultimately make sure you are spending time and serving Christ and doing what he called you.
Correct.
This is what a man call you with the title with. Guess what? The anointing is fine, but you want to make sure that you're walking in your purpose and your anointing, because they walking in theirs and you just admiring theirs. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you have your right gazes on to see the right things. So, but Miss Angie, thank you so much.
You're welcome. This
has been so good. You have dropped some jewels. People have been saying things. Shelly's talking about forgiveness is a hard journey. Ooh,
it is. It definitely is.
And Miss Tracy is saying, Angie, when I say you preaching, girl, they say you preaching, Miss Angie.
Well, to God be the glory, first of all.
Yes, absolutely.
And one last thing I want to say is about discipling, right? We are disciples of Christ. So that's something that I focus more on than saying that I'm a Christian, because, anybody can say that. You got applications. They ask you what faith are you, and it's a whole list.
Yes.
But to me, our journey with God is so vital in everything that we do, and we need to give everything that we have to God, praying before everything, asking him, am I walking through the right door? Because not just because the door opens doesn't mean that it's for you. And even the closed doors, I had read something this morning about that. Don't look at it as rejection. Look at it as there's something else on the other side of that door, right? And so I've had to learn that, because it'll get you in your feelings when you feel like things ain't going what the way you envisioned it. You can have all these plans written out, but remember that God knows the plans that he has for you. Thoughts of good and not of evil, to give you an expected end. So you have to have an expectation, right? Absolutely. So I'm done, Makisha. I know we
no. And the thing is, you said about doors. Guess what? God will let you walk through that door if you want to, because
that's a permissive will, right?
That's that will because he give you free will. He give you free will to experience it, because if he'll probably say that ain't for you, Makisha. Raise your hand. I'm speaking to Makisha. That's not for you, Makisha. And I'm like, but it looks good, it tastes good, and I think I want it to be good, right?
Right.
It's not for you, Makisha, but I'm still amping to try to he will allow it to happen, right? Because that you keep pushing, and then when you get in and you're like, oh my God, and he like, well, I tried to tell you,
right,
this wasn't it, right? I have done many things that it was a good idea, but was it a God idea? You know what I'm saying? It was a good idea, but was it a God ordained idea? We have plenty of good ideas, right? But is it a God ordained for his will for your life at that moment idea?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and trust me, I had many of them good ideas. Like, oh, this is such a good idea. I'm going to try this. I'm going to do this. And I got in and I was like, this is horrible.
But it's it's definitely learning and growing, and he will allow things to happen just so you can see, hey, okay, you saw that, you got a chance to try, but it went for you, so come on back over here, right?
And I love him because his grace is so sufficient. He let you. It's we always call it course correcting, right? He will let you do it, but he'll course correct you back. The grace will bring you back in, right? But guess what? Those consequences of you making those decisions, he'll even give you grace through that process. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he sure will.
Think about it. It's like debt, right? The debt, basically, the debt is you enslaved to it, right?
Yes.
Right? Yes. And the lender is the borrower is the
slave to the lender,
right? And hey, you want to go out here and get this new car? I was going to strategize, show you how to do it, but no, I got good credit. Oh, I'm about to go get this new car. You know what I'm saying? That is your free will. Go get it. But that's not. I have something else set up for you. You know what I'm saying? We all have done that, right? And then you get that payment, and it's like, oh my God, I thought I could, or you lose your job, or something, and His grace is still sufficient, even in the process, to help you with that. So
and I just thank God from taking me from, from a lowly place to what I call a place of abundance. I'll say it that way. He's been so good to me, and I don't look at wealth as money. I look at wealth in so many different ways, because every time we breathe, every time I take a breath, I'm rich. Because I know that there was a time that I could have been dead and gone.
Yes, ma'am.
And so every day is a day of grace and mercy.
Absolutely. Yep. His mercy is new every morning. So
yes, okay.
Thank you so much, Miss Angie. It is
Thank you.
So great having you share your testimony, your journey. Again, your testimony is going to help someone. It has helped someone, and it's helping someone. And we appreciate you stepping with us tonight on the Dumping Ground podcast.
Thank you.
Sharing your story. And I love doing life with you. You really talk like having a good laugh, some good times.
Yes.
That's you, Angie. And I appreciate everything you've done, your prayers, everything you've done for me. Encouraging words when I'm like, girl, I'm done. I can't. Like, no. Come on, MC, you got to get it. Come on, you got to. Like, I can't, friend. It's a wrap.
I just thank God, because He is just showing me so much. And He's grown me up. I'm still growing. I'm still a king's kid. You know what I'm saying? But it's just so amazing from where I look back over my life and saw how He brought me over. And I'm gonna say one more thing is, I was listening to a song, and I know you gotta go, but I was listening to Smokey Norfolk this morning. God is able.
Ooh.
And honey, I was like, what you say, God? Because He is. And He's just, people who really know all of my story, they will tell you, God is able, honey. God is able.
Ms. Angie, are you writing your book?
Well, you know what? It's so funny you asked, because somebody asked me. I've been asked like 3 or 4 times.
I'm gonna be tired of asking Angie.
And I'm like, I don't feel like it. Like, one lady asked me, and I held my Bible up. I said, "You see this Bible right here?" I said, "That's how big that book would be." I say, all my life I had to fight.
All my life I had to fight.
But you know what? God gives us weapons of warfare, right? So that's something that I really love to study about, based on my purpose and my call. He keep me spiritual warfare, baby. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, Miss Angie, go and write that book, friend, because you got more. You got stories that's going to help people, that's going to help up others. And I know a little bit of it, and I know I've seen the growth. I've seen the light shining in you, friend. So again, just keep being you, and I appreciate you so kindly. Can't wait to see you so I can hug you.
All right. That'll be soon. So I hope you have a wonderful night, and thanks again for having me. It was an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you so much again, Angie. Have a good night.
All right. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.